All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, John. Welcome to
Hello.
the podcast. And welcome, everyone, to the Real Bodies, Real Healing, Real Stories podcast, where we explore the powerful journeys that shape not only our health, but our purpose and legacy. And we do have a guest here that's very much connected to his purpose and legacy. So thank you so much, John, for being here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep, and I wanted you to kind of like share a little bit about your story. I know that we've talked and we've been friends on Facebook for a few years now. I know a little bit
Yeah.
about your stories. I've seen your posts, very inspirational. I feel like I'm always like seeing good news from your social media posts, which is very inspiring, especially when you're experiencing a lot of adversity and challenges. So I want to hear a little bit more about you for listeners here and don't know you yet, haven't met you. Can you share a little bit about your personal journey and what led you to create, the Journey of Riches book series, which I know has been, over 10 years now, right? And with 450 collaborators in 50 countries. I hope I'm getting it right.
Yeah,
All right.
that's right. 100%. Yeah, I started from humble beginnings. I was illiterate till I was 9, 10. So learning the basics of the English language at that age. And so I never thought I would be in this position today. And if it wasn't for my second grade teacher who encouraged my mum to get me special needs tutoring after school hours, I fell in love with reading and writing after that. And I started the series, The Journey of Riches, in 2015. I was living in Bali, and I was teaching NLP for a US company based in Ubud, and I decided that I wanted to go back to my own coaching practice. So I hired a mentor, and she helped me move my coaching practice online. This was the end of 2013, and she said, rather just be a 6 month coaching program, why don't you have a book as part of it? And that's how Journey of Riches got started. We launched the first book the end of 2015, and now we just launched the 44th book in the series, The Wisdom of Authenticity. So the series is A Journey of Riches, and the latest book, each book has a separate theme. And so the theme for this latest release is The Wisdom of Authenticity. And it's 14 stories that dive deep into what it means to know yourself, to discover yourself through the storms, through the ups and downs, and to still be true to who you are and what you value and what brings you joy in your life. And that's never a straight line. At least all the stories that I've read over the years and many that I've written myself. And so, yeah, it's just it's already number one in 6 countries and United States, Australia, Canada, UK, Germany, Italy, Spain. So it's got some nice reviews and things as well, which is yeah, it's just great feedback for everyone involved. So there's 14 authors in this book, and it's just an honor and a privilege and part of my mission and purpose and legacy to elevate these authors and to get them exposure and out. And just you never know the ripple effect that we can have collectively. And I think there's an African proverb that says that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to, if you want to, I think it's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to, I don't know.
Go alone.
I've lost it, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure someone will know. There's this African proverb about going together and then going as like a family or a unit, and then you go further. That's what it is. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So
Yeah,
that's it.
definitely. I love that proverb, and I've always believed it. Not when I was younger. I was very independent when I was younger, but same as
Yeah.
you, as someone like a teacher of mine when I was in
Yeah.
like, second or third grade also inspired me. So I think that's a similarity that even though
Yeah.
we had the same
Yeah.
experience. Well, not totally the same, but almost like a catalyst for making a change. Isn't it? It's
Yeah.
kind of like weird that when we're kind of like going out there, making transformation, there's like a catalyst, and it's always someone else that, that provides that. It's not just us. Sometimes it's our environment or another person, right? Which connects to what you said,
Yeah.
going farther and doing it with others.
Yeah, I know that you do that with your work and collaboration and podcasts and yeah, the women's circle that you've created. And yeah, it's collaborations where it's at. For myself, it's been through books for the last 10 years, and then also the documentary, The Gift in Adversity, and that's all a collaborated effort. And there's just so much that goes behind the scenes, to create a book, to create a film, and it's done through collaboration. And so it really is, when you go together, you go further.
Exactly. I'm very curious, John, about this film that you mentioned to me. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't watched it.
Okay,
I'm curious what it
I'll
is
have to get you a
about.
link.
Yeah, because I've met some of your authors, and they're really amazing people. Their stories are so amazing and so inspirational. You wouldn't, think that they would still be alive until now, some of them, and very spiritually advanced. So I'm very curious about this film. Like, what stood out to you during making of this film? And tell me a little bit about that. Is it like showing everywhere or a specific location?
Well, yeah, it's at the moment it's on the festival circuit. So festivals don't like you to show the film online, and actually a lot of them have a prerequisite. Part of their rules is you can't show the film online, otherwise you get disqualified. But I can share a private link with you so you can view the film. And yeah, it's just doing the festival circuit at the moment, and it's won a whole bunch of different awards at different festivals are around the globe. Best first time director, best inspirational, nominated for best inspirational film at the Titan International Film Festival in Sydney. It won best international feature film at the Indian Independent Film Awards late last year. It won Anaheim Arts Film Festival best documentary. That was in Germany. So it's won, got an honorable mention at the Berlin Independent Film Festival. So it won a bunch of different awards, which is nice. And there's a few more festivals to go that it's booked into. And then once that completes, then it'll be looking to have it on Gaia and other streaming platforms so people can view it. So
Okay, all
the
right. So
public
not
can watch
right
it.
now is what you're saying, but
Yeah, not right
eventually.
now, but yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Well, I was getting goosebumps because you've won a lot of these awards. So congratulations for that first.
Thank
And
you.
of course, it wasn't just like a one person job, but you have pretty much
So many people
connected.
involved.
Yeah, but you've connected pretty much everyone. I feel like you're the bridge that connected all these people who are sharing their stories, sharing their transformational work, which is part of your work, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So what
100%.
what
Yeah, I feel someone
exactly?
has to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just going to say, I just feel like someone has to hold the vision. So if they hold the vision, and then yeah, then you bring on other people to make that vision a reality. So
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine holding that vision so big. It probably takes a lot of energy and really sharing that vision in a way that's clear and everyone can connect to it.
yeah.
How do you do that?
Well, yeah, it's just learning to, for me, and the journey with the first film was learning to take breaks, but not quit, and just to hang in there and to keep moving forward, even if it was ever so slowly, but just to keep moving forward. And then I think it was after there was a pandemic that happened during that, so the global shutdown, and so yeah, it made it incredibly difficult to finish it, but I finally got there. So yeah, I think it was like 6 years without the pandemic, but 8 years if you include those 2 years. Yeah, it was difficult to get post production done.
Wonderful. Yeah. And who do you think this book is for? Is there a specific type of person that you feel would benefit from reading the book?
Yeah, so the book, yeah, The Journey of Riches, The Wisdom of Authenticity, there's 14 authors from around the globe, Europe, Australia, United States, Canada. And yeah, it's for anyone that really wants to, that maybe has had a bit of a journey through people pleasing, that's really getting an understanding of, uh, their values, what they stand for, and a step to. And this book is basically a culmination of journeys of people sharing about how they went through their storms, how they discovered who they were through the trials and tribulations, that, the hero's journey essentially, and how they came out of the dark cave bigger, better, brighter, more capable, more resilient, and more aligned with their purpose. And so, as anyone that's looking for their purpose, anyone that's looking to align with their values, or discover what they are. Anyone that just wants a little bit of hope, a little bit of inspiration as they go on their journey. Maybe they have a certain level of alignment, but I feel like through reading other people's experiences, it just inspires us that, oh yeah, I can do that too, or that level of relatability. Oftentimes, I find when I'm going through a challenge that feels like I'm the only one going through it, and for me, reading other people's stories just really highlights that, we're never really going through anything alone, that we're not the first one to experience what we're going through, and other people have gone through it as well. And we can relate to their journey. And it just, yeah, it can be a guiding light and just a source of hope and inspiration.
That is really wonderful that you mentioned that. And I really connected to it because sometimes when I write and I also read people's writing, it's almost like we're experiencing the same thing, or we experience the same thing. It's so weird because they're gonna be in different, different countries, or they had a different background, but it's almost like you were going through the same experience. And what you're basically saying is it's going to give them this shift that they're not alone in experiencing the sufferings and challenges. So it bridges that connection with other people, right? And I did hear something from you about what you mentioned with regards to the book with relationships. Is it more on relationships with their partner, or like people pleasing with family members, or is it work, or does it cover all ranges of relationships?
I Yeah, I think all bridges of that: personal relationships, intimate relationships, family relationships, work relationships. That's pretty much covered through the book. Not so much specifically work relationships, but I feel like if you're having an alignment within yourself, then a lot of the relationships in your life will shift to meet that alignment within yourself. And that's kind of what I found on my own personal journey. Of course, that's different for everyone. But yeah, really, yeah, relationships is everything. Like, I guess for me, it was, making peace, that relationship with myself. And I know with a lot of the other authors in this edition of the series, it was the case for them. Once they made peace and that strong connection with themselves, and that was strong and grounded and solid, then everything else just fell into alignment with that. And it's often said that we teach people how to treat us. And I feel that that's comes from, yeah, the more that you can have that strong connection with yourself and honor that, then everything else just falls in alignment with that. So I feel like it starts with ourselves.
Okay, so really a relationship with ourselves. Now you're making me think, John, because I was thinking it's more like relationship with other people, but I feel like it really all starts with the relationship with ourselves and being honest with how we feel about our values, what we're doing with this world. Is it really connected with what our soul wants to do? So really going deeper into that. And with regards to that kind of work, I know that you're making a lot of impact and giving back. So I wanted to hear a little bit more about the charity you're supporting. And can you share a little bit how you got connected with the charity again? Because I know you are donating a big chunk of the book series, the donation for that. And wanted to hear more
Yes, so
about
it's
you.
yeah. So it's Jules Children's Home. It's an orphanage in the northeast of Bali. All the proceeds from the series go to supporting them with food, with shelter. We've helped support them build a school, build shelter between dwellings, replace their bed bunks, having enough food for a month. You know, their main staple is rice, and making sure they have enough rice for the month, fruit, vegetables. They do grow a lot of their own food, but that is seasonal. And so, yeah, that's been a big part of the series since 2021. We've always supported some charity, but I came across them in 2021. I was living in Ahmed, which is the northeast part of the island of Bali, and it's like surrounded by fishing villages and ocean on one side, and then there's mountains behind the fishing villages. And so there's not really a whole lot there. And we just finished a successful book launch, and we raised a bunch of money. And I got like a whole like a lot of big bags of rice, 25-kilo bags of rice. And I was going up into the hills, and I was feeding the elderly and families that were up there, and they were a little bit isolated. You know, Bali was relying a lot on tourism, and then they didn't have that coming in. And so, but there was just a number of different people up in the hills that had kind of fallen through the cracks. The Balinese sort of come together and support each other, but these remote areas weren't receiving any support. And so I previously had gone up there and giving them bags of rice. When I woke up that morning to go, I just felt like something wasn't right. I felt like a shrinking in my heart. I was very confused. I thought maybe there might be danger up ahead. And so I proceeded with caution. And lo and behold, there was a landslide across the road. And I thought, oh, that's why I was feeling these heavy feelings in my heart. And so I decided I'd just go around, which would take me a little bit longer. But again, I got this sinking feeling in my heart that that wasn't the right choice to make. So I just went home confused and meditated. And then after like 5, 10 minutes of just stillness with myself, I just had this, I don't know, knowing that there was this orphanage nearby and they needed help, which made no logical sense to me because there's nothing really around. And so I did a Google search, and on the second page of Google, I found a listing for Jules Children's Home. And it was like a very basic listing, no photo. There was a phone number. I called it, and it was a number of the driver that helps the kids go to school. And he said, yes, there's an orphanage there. Go there. They need your help. We really need help. And I was like, okay. So I drove there. It took me about 35 minutes. And when I pulled into the driveway, the woman came out and she had tears in her eyes. She could see the big bags of rice, and I had some condiments in the bike seat. She said, are you here to answer our prayers? And I was, I guess so. And she went in, we went inside, she sat me down. She said, we didn't have enough food for the next day. I only had enough for lunch and dinner tonight. And so obviously I had like 3 or 4 bags of rice and gave them the condiments, and then took them shopping. And all the kids, all they wanted, they hadn't had ice cream for like 2 or 3 months, and all they wanted was like an ice cream hamburger. So they had like the hamburger bun with ice cream in the middle, and I bought a huge tub of ice cream, with all the proceeds from the launch, and it was amazing. And then just to take photos and videos and share that with all the authors was a really cool experience. And we've had authors go to the series and volunteer their time there. And I've had some of the previous authors, I mean, they're entrepreneurs and things like that. And so they also have been supporting the children's home. And so, yeah, we've been able to make quite a positive impact, and send some kids overseas to go to college overseas, and also get employment in Japan. A couple of the guys are working in hotels in Tokyo, and they send money back to Ibutina. And So it's really taken on a life of its own, and it just started with following my intuition.
Wow. John, it's amazing. I'm getting emotional here. I don't think we
Yeah,
can continue with the story anymore. Um,
yeah,
yeah. Okay. Just give me a minute. All right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really getting emotional with your story, John. It's amazing, and the adventures that you're doing, and also every lives you touch. I feel it's going to affect the next generation or the next person that they also encounter. Okay, just let me a little bit because I got a little bit emotional with your story, but yeah, with all
Can
this
you
stuff,
relate to that can you,
yeah.
because I know that you grew up in the Philippines and you didn't always have everything that you needed growing up.
Yeah, exactly. When I was very young, I did see a lot of that, and I was probably not even a teenager, and I was seeing so many kids in the streets, and I was like feeding them, giving them my food. So definitely, yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
There's a lot more poverty out in the world than people realize.
Yep, yep. It's very common, and yeah, very common situation. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Southeast Asia.
Yeah. And even until now, I still remember them. A lot of them were being sold for for different purposes, and there wasn't really anything much that a child can do at that age. So it was a little bit I'm a little bit heartbroken with that situation. But there's like a lot of
Yeah,
factors involved at that time, and I think now that I'm an adult, there's a little bit more that I can do
yeah,
than I could before.
yeah.
So yeah. So I guess it
Yeah.
wasn't just the right timing, but that experience really opened up my eyes to what other people are experiencing. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah, a lot of
struggle.
people don't realize the child trafficking, selling children, and it's difficult for the parents because they don't have enough money, and yeah,
Exactly. There was like a lot of those happening in the Philippines, and not much that a child can do. There was even younger than me at that time, younger than 5, being sold to trafficking, and it was very heartbreaking. Um, uh, Not knowing how to help them, except the food. That's pretty much it, which is very basic because it doesn't really remove them from that situation, if that makes
yeah,
sense, right?
just keeps them alive. Yes, and then that's kind of like the first step of intervention is providing meals so that at least they don't get illnesses and disease because they're just malnourished. And so,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the first step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's get back to you, John, before we get both of our hearts broken. And I just wanted to ask again, with the possibility of transformation that you're doing with this book, what do you think stood out most for you with all the years that you've been writing the book series with different authors?
The one thing that stood out the most over 10 years.
Yes, exactly. Because you've had over 44 books now, right? This is the
Yeah, I mean, each one has brought something unique to the table, interaction, a share. Uh, it's hard to single out one. I don't know. It's just more the journey in general. I did have an experience. I was living in Koh Tao, which is an island in Thailand, and that was doing post production for the documentary. And so the studio was in Koh Phangan, which is a neighboring island to Koh Tao, and we were launching the new paradigm of kindness. And I was doing a group call with the authors, and out of nowhere, like it was early morning because a lot of the authors were in the United States and in UK, and so it was like 5 in the morning for me, And so it was still quite dark. And out of the darkness, a woman came and she brought me a coffee and she brought me like a snack. And she just saw me out there having a call and just thought I would like to have a coffee and a snack. And it was just so kind. So that's one thing that stood out. There's so many though. Every book has a standout moment. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
those.
I just thought it was so in alignment that here we are publishing a book about kindness, and then a woman comes out of nowhere and yeah, just demonstrates kindness. And the authors didn't believe me that it was just spontaneous. They thought I must have paid her or something to come out or set it up. And I actually didn't even plan to stop there. I planned to go to a different spot, but it started raining. So I had to sort of pull in this place. It was very dark, but there was some tables there. And I just sat myself down and started the group call, and this woman came out. So I thought that that's there's a lot of the stories of alignment, and I really appreciate the alignment and just reaching authors at the right time, like when they're ready to share. And it's just like they've been thinking about it, or and then the breakthrough that they have personally with that is really meaningful for me. And that happens every book. And so there's a lot of individual stories of that. And everyone that's been part of the series, an author, has been personally invited by me and always been recommended by previous authors. And so that's really meaningful that I've been able to keep it that level of yeah. So I just see something in people, and sometimes it's just not the right timing or whatever, and that's okay. And but yeah, when they have a breakthrough and it's just that kind of like divine timing, everything just lines up, and they have incredible breakthroughs. That's really meaningful for me. And then reading the reviews, some of the reviews, you just really can feel the heart of it. Sometimes yeah, it's just, yeah, it's quite extraordinary.
Well, that's really one of the things that I noticed about you, John, when we met. There's so many moments that are small, but everything is like in alignment. Like always the right timing for you, which I hope it would happen to me too. But it doesn't happen to everyone, so it does. It is very rare for some people, but for you, for some reason, you've been like in alignment and very connected to your intuition, which I think it sometimes leads you to where your path is at, right? Do you have any suggestions for us how we can connect to our intuition a little bit more?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a teacher of that. I've just had my own experiences, but I mean, I studied, I went to like a school of, it's kind of like for psychics. And so learning like how to develop your intuition, your psychic ability. That was in Leichhardt in Sydney. I went there for, it was 6 to 3 months in 2010. I did a workshop with William Whitecloud, who he's the author of The Magician's Way, which has sold a few million copies, I believe. And I think they were making a movie about it. Went to his workshop. He has facilitators. He actually wasn't running the workshop. But yeah, just learning to trust like yourself and go beyond like parameters of what you feel is possible. I feel it really opens up your intuition. For example, one of the processes we did in Magician's Way, William Whitecloud's workshop, was putting a straw inside a potato. And it's just, I mean, you see this like a straw inside a potato. Like potatoes are pretty solid.
Yeah.
And this technique of just visualizing it and seeing it done, that the straw goes right through the potato and things like that. So um, that, and then yeah, just trusting like your feelings and your sense and yeah, just yeah, it takes a while. I mean, it didn't happen overnight, and I also did work with some spirit Indian gurus. They call them Hanuman and Bhagavan. They're from the Oneness Blessing University, who used to be associated with Tony Robbins, and they give the Oneness Blessing at the Date with Destiny event. And so I became one of their blessing givers in 2011 after studying with them for a little while. And yeah, that's all about the different practices help you to trust your intuition. And yeah, and it's just a matter of just practicing. I also did workshops with Sonia Choquette. So her work around trusting your she calls it sixth sensory sense, like your senses, sensory living. And that program, I did that, and I have the audio version of that, and I just listen to it over and over again. And it can just be a matter of just, for me, a yes is an expansive feeling in my chest, in my heart, and then a no is like a shrinking feeling, and it's sometimes it's just so evident and obvious. And the more that, yeah, you can lead with the heart and just trusting your vibes, then yeah, that's the best way I've found of trusting your intuition and developing that trust.
John, you are just so magical. so 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 many expertise and talents. And I really appreciate you sharing your story and your heart. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who would appreciate hearing your stories. And I really want you to be able to invite our listeners and viewers. What would you kind of like have them do so that they can, get to know a bit more about your work and be able to, see what you're about.
Well, you could go to the website for the series, www.ajourneyofriches.com, and you have all the books listed there. There's also like a blog there is with writing tips as well. If you're thinking about writing and sharing your story, and yeah, I mean, also we give, if you leave your details, you can we'll send you through a few of the copies from the series and have a read. And yeah, the series is many different perspectives on one theme. So each book is a different theme. And it's great. You can open anywhere, find a chapter that relates to you, and let the journey begin.
Yep. Well, thank you so much, John. And for the listeners, I encourage you to support John's work by checking out his uh, new release book, The Wisdom of Authenticity, and other Journey of Riches. There's like 43 of them. I'm gonna put down a link in the video here, and definitely check it out. Support his work, and thank you so much again, John. I appreciate you for being on here. All right.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.